Transformation happens when you become aware of the beliefs that are popping up, when you become aware of the thoughts that you're holding. You may not be aware of the first thought, but you are aware of the second thought. Hey YouTube, welcome back to Angelayetv, where I help you remember who you are. Today, we're talking about limiting beliefs. You know, those mental chains that hold us back from the real life we truly desire. But we're going to look at this through the fascinating lens of neuroscience. First, let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why these beliefs feel so hard and so real and you just can't shake them? Here's why. Your brain is wired to keep you safe, not necessarily help you thrive. That's where the limiting beliefs come in. They're your brain's way of protecting you from perceived danger. But here's the thing, you can rewrite those patterns. Stay with me. I'm going to break it down. I'll be right back. Welcome back. So there's a powerful truth that is, as within, so without. Your beliefs shape your reality. But here's the game changer. Your limiting beliefs aren't fixed. They're just stories, and you have the power to rewrite them. So what are limiting beliefs? From a neuroscience perspective, I am not a neuroscience expert, neither am I a neuroscientist. However, I am one who's very studious, and I study a lot of different subject matters. And from what I've studied and gathered, this is my experience on how I removed the limiting beliefs and rewrote or rewired my brain for success. So here's my definition. So according to Angela, limiting beliefs are false narratives we create about ourselves or the world. They stem from past experiences, cultural conditioning, or fear of failure. I'm going to give you a few examples, and perhaps maybe you can hear yourself speaking or saying what I am going to say. Perhaps you've said some things like this. Number one, I'm too old to start something new. Two, success is for other people, not for me. Or maybe you've said, I don't have the skills to make that happen. If you said this, or maybe perhaps you said some other things, I want you to pause right now, and I want us to do a quick activity together, just so that you can keep a thought. That's all this activity is for you to hold a thought. So the quick activity that we're going to do right where you are, take a moment and pause. We're going to do some reflection, and I want you to reflect on what's one belief that's been holding you back lately. Perhaps maybe it's something that I just said or something else. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down or keep it in your mind. And as you go through this video, I know you're going to hear some things that I'm going to share with you that you can rewire your brain for success. Okay? So a limiting belief is simply a state of consciousness, a self-concept you've assumed. You have assumed these self-concepts about yourself. The good news is an assumption can be changed. Everything can be changed. There's a quote by Neville that says, man is only limited by his imagination. What does this mean? It means your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. If you believe you are limited, you will experience limitation. If you believe that your life sucks and that you are a failure, then you will keep getting experiences in your life that look like failure and that will ultimately have you to say, my life sucks. A famous quote says, if you think you can, then you will. If you think you can't, then you won't. It's all about what you think, not about what your neighbor, your husband, your siblings, anybody else think, but what do you think about you? That's what you're going to be. So in Proverbs 23:7, it says, "For as a man thinketh in his heart, so he becomes." So here's the meaning of that. Whatever thoughts you hold in your heart about you, that's what you are going to be. If you're constantly repeating the limited beliefs about your life, experiences, and the negative thoughts that people may have said or that you've said about yourself, and you're holding those limited beliefs in your heart and you're constantly repeating them out loud, those beliefs, those experiences are seeds. Your heart is a fertile ground. And every time you have a limiting belief or you repeat thoughts and experiences based off what you've experienced in the past, you're going to reap a harvest. So you are the sum total of everything that you think about yourself. From when you were in your mother's womb until the age of 7, you are living off of your early experiences as a child, and you're running off of that program. And you are now basing your entire life based off of the thoughts and how you were told to think and the experiences that you experienced as a child. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to prove it to you. Early on in childhood, as a child, we absorb beliefs from our environment, from our parents, our siblings, especially our siblings, and our teachers and society. For an example, I'm going to give you one example that I believe all of us can resonate with. If you heard money doesn't grow on trees often, you may have formed a belief that money will be hard to achieve. I have heard that. I heard that as a child, and I thought I had to work really hard to earn money until I later discovered that I don't have to earn money and that I could never really earn it. Money comes as a result of my state of consciousness and your state of consciousness. Money will come to you. In fact, not just money, but everything in your life comes to you based off your state of consciousness. You don't have to earn. Earn speaks of you doing something. We attract everything that we need into our life based off of our state of consciousness. So the limiting beliefs also form in our life based off of fear and survival. The brain's amygdala is responsible for detecting threats, and those threats may associate failure or rejection with danger. And this creates a belief to avoid taking risks, such as not being a good public speaker, you being afraid to speak out loud. That was one of the things that I was afraid to do. And those beliefs, in real life, they shaped my decision-making skills. They shaped whether or not I will take opportunities or I will avoid them. And when you believe that you're not enough, you do avoid opportunities and you settle for less, or you stay in your comfort zone. For years, I thought I wasn't qualified to share my knowledge, but the truth was, the only thing that held me back was my beliefs. Once I let go, everything changed. So there's neural pathways. We're going to talk about this part because I think it's important for us to learn and understand about the brain. When one of my clients who I just was speaking with, I began to share with her about the brain and the significance of the brain, because most of the things that we're experiencing, as far as memory recall, long-term and short-term memory, the things that we are reliving comes from the brain. Your brain has a default mode network, or DMN. And it's like your brain or your mind is on a mental autopilot. It relies on your past experiences and beliefs to predict future outcomes. That within itself is like deep. Your brain relies on your past experiences and beliefs to predict what's going to happen for you in the future. So if you've always believed that you're not good at something, be it in school, in your early childhood years, be it at cooking. I'm not good with keeping a house, keeping my finances. No matter what it is, your DMN will filter out experiences or evidence to the contrary, reinforcing that belief. And thus it creates a cognitive bias for you. And the cognitive bias is a mental shortcut that makes you seek evidence supporting what you already believe. So if you think, I'm not smart enough, your brain will highlight situations where you struggle and you will simply just ignore your successes. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to rewire your brain. Same thing that I did, how I rewired my brain and I overcame limiting beliefs. Number one, identify the belief. Ask yourself, what's the reoccurring thought or story that's stopping me? Number two, challenge it. Is this belief actually true? Can I find evidence that disapprove it? More often than not, you'll find that it's baseless. It has no foundation. Number three, rewrite the narrative. Instead of saying you're not good enough or I'm not good enough, try I'm capable of learning and growing. Rewrite your belief into something empowering. Number four, take action. Every time the old belief pops up, and it will, trust me, act in alignment with your new one. This is where transformation happens. Transformation happens when you become aware of the beliefs that are popping up, when you become aware of the thoughts that you're holding. You may not be aware of the first thought, but you are aware of the second thought. So awareness is the key to transformation. Neville said, you must become conscious of your inner conversations. What are you telling yourself about who you are? Your self-talk holds the clues to your limiting beliefs. There are a few exercises that you can do, but I'm going to share with you one exercise. And it's just a practical exercise that I feel will help you. Right now, I want you to take a moment to observe your thoughts. When you think about your desires, whether it's a new job, a new love relationship, financial freedom, taking a vacation, owning a home, what comes up? Do you hear a voice? Now, I'm going to reframe that. Do you hear a voice? Because there's not a voice outside of you that's speaking to you. Do you hear your voice? Because a voice comes from within. So do you hear your voice saying, I can't? It's too hard. Or I don't deserve this. Or I'll never get that home. I'll never get married. That's your limiting belief revealing itself to you. Okay? So, number 5, again, awareness is key. Awareness is key. The first step to change is recognizing the belief. Pay attention to the thoughts that start with I can't, I'm not, or this is impossible. All of these thoughts, every last one of those, are red flags for limiting belief. Number 6, I want you to interrupt the pattern. Neuroscience shows that the brain is plastic. It can change at any age. When a limiting belief arises, consciously challenge it. Ask yourself, is this belief based on fact or fear? Most of the time, it's based on fear. Number 7, build new neural pathways. You're going to do this through 2 different methods. Number 1 is visualization, and number 2, affirmations. When you're doing the visualization, I want you to imagine yourself in a situation where you normally feel stuck. Visualization activates the same neural circuit as the actual experience, helping to form a new pathway. Number 2, affirmations, especially positive affirmations, can override negative self-talk, but repetition is key. Every time you repeat an empowering belief, you strengthen that neural pathway. And lastly, I've already said it before. I'm going to say it again because I think it's important to highlight this again. So take action. Action cements change. Start small. If your belief is I'm creative, take one creative action today, like brainstorming, writing, doing arts and craft, cooking. No matter what the idea is, take one small action a day. Every small success weakens the old belief. Surround yourself with positive influences and continue to practice your affirmations. Lastly, I'm going to give you some journaling prompts that you can use that can help you begin to rewire your brain. Journaling prompt number 1 says, what's the worst that can happen if I try? I want you to write that down. And then whatever thoughts come to mind next, write those thoughts down. This is to prompt you to think and to brainstorm. Number 2, what's one small step that I can take today? Write that down. And then after that, I want you to write the thoughts that come next. Finally, the science of persistence. This is extremely important. You have to know this because some of you will beat yourself up. You start condemning yourself, make yourself depressed and sad and sick. You have to know that rewiring your brain doesn't happen overnight. Study shows it takes consistent effort around 21 to 66 days to form a new habit or belief. The more you persist, the stronger the neural connections become. Every time you challenge a limiting belief and you succeed, your brain releases dopamine, reinforcing the new pathway. I want you to celebrate those wins, no matter how small. It's called dopamine and reward. Celebrate your wins. Pat yourself on the back. Your way of celebrating can look like taking yourself to the movies, going to go get your favorite dessert from the store. But celebrate your wins. The small ones, they always lead up to big wins. In conclusion, limiting belief is powerful, but you are so much more powerful. The moment you challenge them, you take back control of your life. Your brain, no doubt, is an incredible tool designed to adapt and grow. Limiting beliefs are nothing more than outdated programs. And with awareness, you remembering who you are, not who your mother told you or whoever your caretaker was, but remembering the spirit, the divine being that you are. And by taking action and being persistent, you can rewrite them. So, what's one limiting belief you're ready to release today? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to support you on this journey. I am Angelayetv. Until next time, bye.